Hello and welcome, soul family. This is MK coming at you, once again connecting to your soul and feeding it. Now, I have a question for you, and the question is this. Have we entered the phone zombie apocalypse? Because it certainly feels that way to me. So have you noticed how many people are looking at their phones these days? Yeah, everywhere you go, people are almost bumping into you, yeah, because they're constantly looking down and not looking where they are going. Now, you can go to a restaurant for a nice meal or even a pub lunch, and you can see a whole family around the table, and each one of them, no matter what age they are, they're all on their phones, yeah? There is some restaurants now that are banning phones while you sit down and eat. And they actually tell you to turn your phone off while you are eating. Wow, what has this world come to? So like I say, it really does seem like we have entered into a mobile phone zombie apocalypse. I was in a pub the other day and there's this married couple sat opposite me. And they're both looking down and they're both on their phones. And because I've got a good sense of humour, I went up. I said, "Excuse me, you two." I said, "Are you texting each other?" Like this. And they went, "No." I went, "Well, give your brain a rest and put your phones down and talk to each other like humans, yeah? Not robots." And do you know what they did? They did just that. I was shocked. That sort of sentence, I actually sort of got through to them. And I watched them put the phone down, bless them, and they started actually talking to each other. Priceless, I'll tell you. It was so funny. So I'll tell you a little secret here. I've been doing martial art now for over 40 years. 40, that's a heck of a long time. That's most of my life, actually. And I started doing martial art because I was violently abused as a child. Now, don't get me wrong, being, a certain rank in martial art doesn't make you indestructible. It doesn't make you the hardest person in your town, you know. We still bleed. We can still get beat up, yeah? And there's always someone harder than us just around the corner. But what martial art training does to you over the years is you get a fantastic sense of awareness. Yeah, you could be in a pub and you can just read the energy and you can read a fight's going to start any second. Yeah, I usually just go. I'm off. I don't want to know. You know, life's hard enough just surviving these days, you know, without getting into any aggressive situations. So what I'm saying in short is you will not get a trained martial artist walking down the road looking down at his phone. His head will always be up, back up straight, very alert, arms and hands down by the side, ready for any confrontation. In fact, sometimes you can't even switch off. It's so annoying. And this applies to self-protection instructors, bouncers, security guards, you know, and anyone that has training in those areas. So another thing to remember is if you are always looking down on your phone, what an easy target you are, yeah? Pickpocketers, yeah? People that want to just lay into you, yeah? For no apparent reason, yeah? You know, you could possibly walk into somebody else, yeah? You could have your bag snatched. So just keep an eye on yourself as well when it comes to mobile phones. It's a funny thing, I'm really into my psychology. Yeah, I've studied that for donkey's years. And I will go out some days and do social experiments on Joe Public. Just to sometimes study the human mind and how it works. Anyway, I have a see-through mobile phone. It's not a real phone. I'll put some pictures up. And I went out a couple of weeks ago and I counted 100 people around me. So that was in the street. I went to a restaurant. I went to a cafe, I went to a pub, I went for a walk in the park, yeah. Anyway, I finally got to this pub, and I don't always drink. Sometimes I'll have a coffee or a cup of hot chocolate. And I'm in this pub with my gadget, and I have something that makes the noise of a phone ringing, yeah? So I press that button in my pocket, that gadget is hidden, and then I take out my see-through mobile phone, which is just a piece of perspex, really. It's a see-through, just a piece, and I've added buttons on the side and some see-through cameras, and it looks very, very strange. Anyway, I counted that day 100 people. Wherever I was, all these phone zombies were looking down at their phones, and they didn't even look at me. They didn't notice I had a see-through fake phone. Yeah? Anyway, the last cafe I went in at the end of the day, this young couple came in, and this guy came up and he said, "Excuse me," he goes, "That's not a real phone." I goes, "Oh my God." I goes, "Absolutely right, mate." I said, I looked at his girlfriend, I said, "Keep this guy, he's awake." And I said, "No," I said, "I'm doing a social experiment on phone zombies today, and I've counted 100 people, and you are the first person to actually noticed that I'm using a fake phone, so well done you." Anyway, my friends, enough of me chaffing on about these phone zombies. Let me know in the comments if anyone has ever bumped into you while looking down at their phone, or nearly bumped into you, or even just stopped dead right in front of you when you are trying to walk round them. Thank you for being here today. Catch up with me on my next video where we once again connect souls. In the meantime, take great care of yourself. Namaste, my friends. Namaste.